Let's welcome Dr. Sukant K. Mohapatra, Chairman, NIST Barampur, for his address with a huge round of applause, please.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks to Dr. Rai to invite to this August meetings and all respected speakers and distinguished guests. Again, good morning to everybody. So I think today's topic was, for me, what I understand, it was a blooming era of startup and looking forward to in the future. So let me focus on that. And to do that, like a blooming era of startup, what it means and why we say it's a blooming era of startup. What are the key enablers for the startup? If you look into that industry 4, what is happening is basically every 100 years, we started with a steam engine, we started with telephones, we started with the computing, and then we're getting into a hyper-connected world. What is means hyper-connected world? The communication and computing merging together, providing an ecosystem and with different technology to really focus on the startup. And what is happening, how this hyper-connected world is helping, I'll give 2 examples. For example, if you look Ola and Uber, what it is? It is basically software-defined taxi company. But they don't have any taxi, zero taxi. But billions of dollars they do just using the software. So the technology, the web technology provides the best innovation of the century. Using that, $1 trillion GDP has been made, $1 billion industry has flourished, and these are some examples. If you look at Airbnb, what is Airbnb? It is software-defined hotel. So the disrupting the conventional hotel and research, making software-defined things, but they don't own a single room, they don't own a single hotel, they don't own a single resort, but they're able to do that. Number 2, if you look into how this technology enabling innovation. So it's not technology itself, the technology like web technology or AR/VR technology or like data analytics, what we are talking about, it's really driving the innovation. Not innovation, it's driving disruption. Right now, you disrupt or you will be disrupted. I'll give an example. For example, if you're talking the autonomous vehicle, when the autonomous vehicle is not yet there, when will be there in 2-3 years, there'll be no driver. But if the vehicle is moving on the road, the thing is, if the accident happens, who owns the kind of a, to whom it will be paid by the insurance company? Nobody knows. So it is disrupting some industries, not only innovation disrupting some industry. But then if you look into the startup ecosystem, there are few key criteria for startup ecosystem. One is the ideas. Right? So new idea, not only idea, people have ideas, but innovative ideas which can lead to make money. That's where the startup will succeed, right? It's not just idea, but take that idea, do implement that in innovative way with a positive ROI. That's where the startup will succeed. There is a startup, there is a successful startup. Rate is very low, actually about 5%. So how you become successful startup rather than startup, that's the key thing we have to work. And the second item to it, the entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, not necessarily idea creator. Idea creator can come from different, like university, institutes, subject matter expert, they can have ideas. But entrepreneur are different, the different DNA actually, different DNA. So if you look at entrepreneur, the key quality of them is to risk taker. They're risk taker, they want to take risk. They have a good business sense. And they have a good kind of a organization skill, how to form company, how I bring CEO, CFO, CTO, bring the people, member of technical staff, all those things, bring good organization, successful organization with a good business skill where they can make profit out of what they're doing. The other is the investor, like the angel investor, venture capitalist, all those kind of things will put money into that. But the one biggest thing, as Dr. Monty was telling, mentor and advisor. So what is happening, many of these young people, the kids, they're kind of coming with ideas and they're merging idea versus entrepreneur together. idea creator is becoming entrepreneur. That's not true. Entrepreneur, unless you have that entrepreneur skill, the risk-taking, business acumen, and all those things, it's very difficult to survive. But you have to bring right people to ecosystem. But when the startup is starting, typically what you see, there are people with seasoned knowledge, how to go to the market, how to make that product to go to the real life cycle of maintaining. It's not just product, but once you go to the product, how it is sustained in the market, and innovation has to continuous process. There's nothing called, I innovate today, I'm done. It has a continuous process. All the time you have to innovate to sustain in the market. That has to happen. But the R&D effort for that cannot be done by the startups. So that's where the industry and the institute and university can play a very role to innovate that product which is there. So institute and university are very fundamental to the startup ecosystem. And looking forward to the future will change drastically. The way we live, the way we are, change drastically. And I will give some example. The one example is, and the startup opportunity is multiple area. It's not just like a technology or something, medical, healthcare, oil and gas, manufacturing, supply chain. There's multiple area where this could be, the startup could be applied. So scope of opportunity for the startup looking forward future is enormous, is tremendous. And the another thing what is happening, if you look into this, I'll give some example of why I'm saying it is very, very broad and very bright, future is bright in the startup. I'm working with something, with some organization in the education field. But the way education today, you go to the class, study in the classroom, go to the lab, do the things. Now what will happen, education you can have anywhere, any place, anytime you can give education. So using the AR/VR technology, we're starting a course in biology to start with, and anywhere in the world, that course could be taught by the finest professor. One professor can teach thousands of millions of students across the world, but how it will doing, you can actually, it's not book, no more books. Basically, using AR/VR technology, you can go like, suppose you're studying heart, you can know the pulse of the heart. Suppose you're studying the kind of a bone, you can like go and touch the bone virtually actually. That's how the education is changing. But while you're doing, what is the startup doing there? Because it's like not only AR/VR technology, it's the story, how to build the content for that. It's a lot of graphic design, a lot of things is there. And how to tell a story about it. It's not like go and teach, or like we have a 228 bone or something, but how to make a story. There are people in the media and people in the kind of a cinema, they're involved to tell the story of human body and all that. So there are multiple people are involved to develop this use case or the solution which will happen. Another example I'll give you, the tremendous opportunity in defense. The what you see, like a drone now, that will be like underwater drones. The submarines is very expensive. They'll get rid of those, it will be underwater drones. But when you do underwater drone, lot of things like knowledge of hydrodynamics, knowledge of the technology, knowledge of communication has to be done, part of the innovation to create that thing, right? In the warfare, there will be no people, human being will not involve in any warfare. It will be all driven by robotics. And robotics will work together with AI-based mechanism to kind of how to go make the war, how to make kind of a cover one each other. The same thing will be simulated completely in our field, and there's no human being. But while you're doing, you need startup in robotics, you need startup in the communication, you need expertise in AI machine learning. That's how it will be done. So the scope is tremendous. And but to success in startup, I think that 4P. 4P is the key thing. One, you should have passion. Second, the purpose, what you are doing, what for you are doing. People, right people. It could be innovator. It could be idea creator, ideation people. It could be entrepreneur that work together to become startup, and also the profit. You have to make money out of it. Unless you make money, it's not going to survive, right? That 4P is very critical for creating a successful startup. Passion, purpose, people, and profit. That's how it will be driving. And as Dr. Ajay Mantu was telling, so we have an organization, how we can contribute to the Odisha startup ecosystem. It's called GENIPO, GNEPO. NISTPO.org. Please visit that website. And what we have started basically, the organization, how to connect people. If you look into different things, investor needed, idea creator is needed, the innovation is needed. So all these things, how you can just give a platform to create those connections that might help in ecosystem. The second part, as you said, the mentor and advisor is one of the very key component to make the ecosystem successful. So we're kind of forming a global partner where you can global ecosystem, where the people with the expertise could be a mentor and advisor to help on this thing. And this mentor advisor not necessarily to free advice. They could take a stake and make it run. So when people have a stake, they have a more ownership and make it successful. So again, thank you very much for this talk, and thank you for Odisha Startup to invite me to this talk. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. So by this, we have come to the end of the session on the blooming era of startup. I would now like to request Mr. Pavitra Kumar Mandal, IAS retired and Chief Admin Officer, Startup Odisha, to please felicitate both the speakers on the dais one by one, and I'll request all of you to please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Dr. Ajay Kumar Mohanty, Director, Deloitte, followed by Dr. Sukant K, Mohapatra, Chairman, NIST, Berhampur.